The market is obviously down this week, so I'm going to kind of go over a little bit at the beginning on why it is down so much this week, because I know people have a lot of questions on that, and I know Jill probably doesn't even know most of these things because I just kind of looked into them the last few days, but it's going to be 4 little things that we're going to go over. The number one thing is called the Japan carry trade.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Also, unemployment ticked up this last week as well, so the Federal Reserve is probably going to lower interest rates in the coming period. Maybe they'll do it out of nowhere, maybe they'll do it in September. But what I kind of look at to figure those things out is what mortgage rates do. So mortgage rates have already dropped, kind of letting everybody know that interest rates are also going to drop. So whether or not this is going to be a good thing, who knows? They've been at, interest rates have been at about 5% for quite some time. So that could cause some havoc in the market.
That's definitely good.
So anything that I say make any sense to you right there?
I understand what mortgage rates are and interest rates.
All right, good enough. Hey, that's.
I did not really think that unemployment would be a link between, unemployment ticked up, ergo, mortgage rates or interest rates, whichever one you said, wouldn't have connected the two.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different levers that the market kind of pulls on. So if you have high interest rates, it costs a lot to borrow money to run a business. And if there's not a lot, if people are starting to lose their jobs, you might want to lower those interest rates because it's like a delicate little balance back and forth to make sure things don't break. So I'll go over those really briefly kind of in the middle here, but we're going to go ahead and update everybody else on our trades this week. So I think I'll have Jill go first.
All right. Well, I did my double shot for the month. So I added $50 into my account for my double shot 2 days ago, and I re-upped on something I have. Any guesses?
I think I know this week. I think you bought Marriott.
Oh, you do know. I try not to let him see my account, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens when he's getting screenshots. But yes, so I put $50 double shot into Marriott 2 days ago, and it is up from where I bought it about $6. So my extra 50 has increased since I bought it $6. I don't know how to say that legitimately, like in the right words. But either way, it has gone up from where I bought it to 2 days later today, $6.
Sounds good.
And then for my week, earlier today, I bought Uber. So
Very
I
nice.
had actually been thinking, I want to buy Uber this week. So it was actually a plan. And then my morning got away from me. The market opened. It had been open for a few hours by the time I bought it earlier today. And it had gone really well up already. And I'm like, it was the plan. I'm just going to stick to my plan. Even though the graph, because it had shot up since the market opened today, I was like, I feel like this is the wrong decision now. But I did it anyway, and it didn't work. I'm down $1.50.
Yeah, market didn't have a good
in the day. But Uber was up for the day. It's just that I waited too long. It already had its up, and then I bought it.
So you bought the top.
And then it was meh.
You bought the top of the day on it.
Yes.
That makes sense.
But it was ingrained in me that it was going to be what I did, and I stuck to my guns.
All right. I went ahead and actually also used my double shot this week. I went ahead and actually bought Amazon with it. So Amazon was down 10% in one day. I think it was on Monday I saw it and I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy some Amazon today. So that was my double shot for the month of August. And if people don't know what the double shot is every month we add an extra $50 at any point that we want during that month, one time for whatever stock that we want to choose. So for any of the new viewers that may not know what that is. I also sold 2 things as well this week. I went ahead and sold Dogecoin. I decided that I really only have one meme coin that I like, and people that follow me know which one that is. I also sold Qubits, so one of the quantum computer stocks. It was down 50%, so I went ahead and also got rid of that one. I took both of those sells and those funds and I bought Public Storage. So it hit a new 1-year high. And the other reason I bought Public Storage was also because it pays a 4% dividend. And like I mentioned on previous episodes, I'm kind of starting to go after dividend stocks for the same reason I mentioned at the beginning for interest rates. So if interest rates start to drop and there are stocks out there that pay you 4% and interest rates are only 3%, you now own a business that can also appreciate in value while paying you money. So I'm starting to oddly look at names that pay dividends. And for an account that's only like $50 a week, maybe that's irrelevant, but that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. That's also a reason why I've been buying like Starbucks and Nike and those names as well. They've been crushed for the last like 3 years, but they're names I don't think they're going anywhere. And then also for the single normal trade this week, I bought more Amazon. So I
approve.
I kind of doubled up on Amazon. It's not really following Jill. I like Amazon as well, but she just took the lead so far out in front of me. And now that it's like got chopped, and I think it's down like $40 a share from its highs, even just a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, this is a pretty decent price for me to get in Amazon as well. So
why didn't you tell me? I'd have re-upped my Amazon instead.
I guess you got to look a little bit more.
Well.
And now we're going to go over the week amounts. So last week, and this is probably one of the worst weeks, I think, in the market, at least middle of the week. Today's Wednesday.
It's been rough.
Last week, I was at $1,948.31, up 2.54% on the year entirely. But this week has been so bad that I am now down just this week 8.25% in 1 week. So that puts me now, even with the double shot plus the other $100 normal, I'm now at $1,874.79, down on the year 6.26%.
That's a shift.
It has been a wild week.
Whammy!
Yeah, pretty much. Jill last week was at $2,210.97, up a whopping 16.37%. And again, she did a double shot and the normal, so another $100. She is now at $2,139.06.
So I went up.
And so no, you went down.
Oh.
You are now from 16% on the year, you are now only up 6.95%. So you dropped about 10% in 1 week as well. And I think I mentioned it maybe a few episodes ago. If I find it, I'll put it on there, that we would have a week during the summertime where we would drop 10% in 1 week. And this is pretty much it, I feel like. So with the Japan carry trade, what that means is people were borrowing money from Japan. So what you do is you go to Japan because their interest rates are so low. You could just say, I want to borrow $1 million or 1,000,000 yen, whatever. I'm going to keep it simple. You take that money, you sell it for US dollars, then you buy US stocks or US bonds. All right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're borrowing money really cheap to buy stuff that will appreciate in value.
Okay.
Okay? Now what happened is Japan raised their interest rates. So what that happens is that you've already borrowed that money. You now have to pay back more in interest on that money. So
ouch.
It essentially causes like a ripple effect where if stock prices go down and their interest rate also goes up, you have to pay that money back. So your returns may not be as good. So you start selling US assets or US bonds, whatever you use to borrow the money to pay back so you don't have to pay the higher interest rates. And that can kind of create a cascade effect of selling and some crazy things happening. And Japan has kept their interest rates pretty low for a long time. So it's they only up their rate by like 25 basis points, which is only 0.025%. But that can cause a lot of things to happen if people are borrowing a lot of money at a very, very cheap rate. And now they have to owe a little bit more back and they're not getting as good. So even I'm just trying to learn about all of that stuff, and it's some complex stuff, but it can cause some
that was a lot.
It can cause some insane things to happen. We kind of already went over employment rates, so people are losing their jobs. Obviously, that signals some bad things in the market. Even driving around in Arizona, I've noticed some businesses that just all of a sudden were gone. All of a sudden we're closed in just the matter of a few months. So what does that spell on the horizon? I don't know, but we're going to just continue doing what we're doing.
Not panicking.
And that's our slogan, not panicking. At least that's Jill's slogan, not panicking.
What do I not do? I don't panic.
She doesn't panic. And so now we're going to go over a question that was brought on Twitter today, or X, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably still call it Twitter. Was how did I get my wife into the markets? I'm trying to get my girlfriend into it. Any advice? What do you have to say to that?
I would say that this podcast idea was a big driver. Hey, I don't know much about the market, so it was easy for me to agree to this because I got to play not that I'm play the novice, because why do I have to be nervous? I don't have to study. Like, this is literally just all I know. So I get to just be me. But I am learning along the way. So that was a definite big player. Also, just the fact that this is what he does, and he literally talks to me about it all the time. Like, anybody would come home from a hard day of work and be like, oh, listen to my day. Well, he does the same thing, and I'm like, what?
Eyes glaze over.
I'm looking at him, I go, tell me what emotion I should feel. Like, oh, this company did blah, 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 and it's up this or it's down this. And I'm like, I know it could be good if something's down or good, bad, and vice versa. So I'm like, tell me the emotion. Am I happy? Yay! So it's just that constant just eyes glazing over when the most important person in the world is talking to you is definitely a driving factor to kind of pay attention a little bit more and know what the heck he's talking about. At least a little.
At least a little.
At least enough to be able to nod and understand what I'm nodding to.
And so if I said in one sentence for somebody who doesn't do a podcast, they're just going to do it by themselves on their phone to their girlfriend, what would be the one thing you'd say to that person in one sentence? Just download the app?
Yeah. Download the app and just look at things. Look at the graph and just make it a game. Like, look at the graph. What do I think it's going to do? Check back. Even if you don't invest money at first, like, just look at the graph. Be like, I feel like it dropped a ton. And then maybe what I do, not that this is right, but if I look at like the year to date, if it's gone down in the last week or so, right? Yeah. I'm like, ooh, it's gone down. It's a good time to buy. But if I look at the year, oh, well, like, this is the highest it's been all year, and it's actually only like right here. Do I really think it's gonna go like all-time high? But just look at it and kind of make a note about it and then have it be a game. Did it happen? Did what you predicted happen? And just start feeling out those graphs. Maybe make a game out of it. Make a little bet out of it. So-and-so owes me a massage if I am right or wrong or, whatever. I think we should do that, actually. That was a good idea.
That was the longest sentence I think I've heard in a while.
Oh, I guess it was supposed to be a sentence.
But it made me think while she was talking about it was that maybe the reason even I started was because I know that my grandfather actually got my grandmother into stocks because he used to do it. And whenever I'd go to my grandma's house, she would always look at stocks on TV and on CNBC, and she'd have printouts sitting on her kitchen table of stocks and all these different things. And once I even got older, like in high school, I started like paying attention to that a little bit more. So it's pretty interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually put a link in the description to our portfolio so you can see everything that we do own. We will also include the charts at the very end of this as well. And as always, if you guys have any questions, definitely let us know, and we'll be back next week. We'd love to hear from people on YouTube as well, so definitely let us know if you do have those questions.